Good Sunday morning, folks. It's sunny and going to be a hot one here today. Yeah, I went live. I've kind of been in a funk, uh, but I feel like I've been letting my peeps down, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about nothing. Yeah, of course, we're going to bring up the baby cash crime just because it's weighed heavy on me, but there's a lot of people covering it, so I don't feel the need to cover it. Do I feel like it needs to stay in the forefront? Yeah. But like I said, you got Tiffany and Molly, and I'm sure there's several other true crimers that's been covering it. You've been in a funk too, Remy? Yeah. Which, by the way, good morning, Remy. Lisa54, Charlie Girl says, Dog Mom, Angela Critters, the one and only Puss in Boots. I hope your nephew's doing better this morning. Debbie Lou Who, Sweetie Pie. Yeah, I just can't like really get out of this funk. I mean, it's nothing serious. I mean, I don't need to be locked away or anything. Hello, Malboro. Just, I don't know, a lot of old memories. Like, funny thing, when I was growing up, we had horses. And I don't know why, but I was thinking about it yesterday. I was just watching some and I'm going to go ahead and say this. I've pretty much stayed out of the drama, so I don't know what's going on as far as who's hating who's loving who, other than the little skit I did on Wendy B and Blue the other morning, which was nothing but a little clap back. I haven't been paying attention um, to any draggings or anything like that. I know I made it on FOD's list to be drugged, but I wasn't chosen. So, damn it, man. But it's really been kind of cool not being in the midst of all the drama. I've been following, like I said, the Cash Gurnin. Some people say Gurnin. Uh, I've also been following the Molly Tibbetts trial. So it's been kind of, he threw up when he got home from the hospital. That could just be some medicine they gave him, Puss in Boots. Yeah, the cash case does have all the attention, and it should. Um, I mean, not all the attention. There's a lot of children that's coming up missing every single day. But good morning, Captain Obvious. Yeah, me too, Dog Mom. I've kind of been staying in the background. I have gone on Molly's a couple times to express an opinion or, and that's really right now all we have is speculation. I mean, it's pretty clear that Cameron was involved, which leads me into the topic of mental health. Now, I don't know where you guys are from, but I know if you've been following this case, then you know that the neighbors have complained about Cameron in the past. And one neighbor, so far as the fact that he broke into his home, tried to kidnap his granddaughter, and there was a scuffle. It is a nice break from all the drama. I agree, Dog Mom. Now, I don't know where you're all from, but if that had happened in my hometown, Cameron would have been locked up. Okay. And I'm not saying that he needs to be in jail because until I get the mental health status report, I do believe the kid is mentally, I mean, severely mentally, and I don't know what else word to use, and I'm not trying to label, but I believe he's deranged. Cameron, isn't that the name of the kid who kidnapped Cash? Miss New Booty? Hey, Ben. Hope you're doing good. Um, you're an hour from the Cash case. What kind of oh, Darian, my bad. I'm sorry. Who is Cameron? Is Cameron the other kid's name? Okay, yes, yes, yes. I apologize, Miss New Booty. Darian. I apologize, you all. See, that's my brain has been in a fog. I apologize, Miss New Booty. Uh, I won't even go so far as I don't think Cameron has a few problems too. But yes, Darian. Um, in my opinion, Darian should have been if he's as sick as these neighbors have made out to be, and there's no reason these neighbors would have to lie on this kid. Miss New Booty. Hey, Samara. See, I'm getting everything wrong. But if Darian is as mental as, and we know he was under mental health, according to his mother. Hey, Chickadee. I love that name. Then at this point, Darian should have been institutionalized. And when I say institutionalized, I'm not necessarily saying jail because I don't think that all right. I don't believe they are lying, Angela. I believe this Darian has been a menace to this neighborhood for a long time. Um, and I believe that he needed more extensive help than any kind of outpatient going to meet with the counselor. I mean, he obviously has a demented mind. It's not the first child he's threatened, and now he's followed through. So, in my opinion, once again, the system has dropped the ball. It doesn't take the heat off of what Darian has done. Ah, chickadee. It doesn't take the heat off of what he's done. I got to be honest with you, my heart breaks more for Carter than anyone in this situation. And I say this because we have twins in my family, and they can finish each other's sentences. They have each other's symptoms when one's sick and one's not, but the other one that's not really sick feels the symptoms. Losing a twin is like losing an appendage. But most mental institutions have been shut down or I agree, Captain Obvious, and that's a shame because once this is and I'm going by what my therapist has told me. Once this COVID has become a norm, part of our yes, Miss New Booty. According to a neighbor, he broke into their home and tried to kidnap the man's granddaughter, and there was a scuffle. So we know he has the capability of getting into someone's home and trying to take a child. Thank God he didn't complete his mission that night. This story, on the other hand, to me, if you look at the walkthrough, okay, first of all, how would Cameron know how he entered and how he left? There were so many doors and windows, and if you walk through with Cameron when he takes you through the house, that house is so cluttered. Me too, Lisa 54. My heart just breaks for him. But that house is so cluttered. Just the garage itself, to maneuver between pieces of furniture and just junk would have been difficult. You know what, Samara? I understand that it's all jacked up, but somebody brought it to my attention the other day, and they're right. On the older garage doors, if it breaks, there's usually these two heavy duty wires that you have to pull, and you have to add a lot of pressure to get these wires to open that door. Now, I have no idea what type of garage door they have. But there's just a lot that goes with this case that, and like I said, I can't stop thinking about Carter. I know in my belief, because I believe in God and a higher power and I believe in heaven. Hey, Pepper. Hey, Texas Girl One, that Cash is with, Cash is with the Lord. Cash is, he's suffering no more. Carter, I believe, is going to need therapy. I know he's only 4, but once again, when you lose a twin, it's like losing an appendage. It was an older model of overhead. So, Pepper, isn't that the type where you have to pull the 2 cords? I mean, they're made of metal, but they're really, really hard to pull back to get the door to open. I mean, I don't think it's any big secret that Darian's been at this home before. Okay. To me, that's not a big secret. There's been so many stories told, none of them match up. One story is Cameron only knew him from school. Monica says she come home to find him, and told him she didn't want him anymore. There's a lot going on behind this, and I pray that the Dallas police do not drop the ball on this. I don't have a lot of faith in, I can't say just the Dallas police, but surrounding areas because of a case that I think they totally fumbled. But, and they said that morning when he come back the second time that he was spooked. He doesn't appear to be spooked. Right, Pepper. It has a metal plate that locks in place and needs great force to unlock it from the inside. Hey, Shauna B. But he doesn't, to me, appear to be spooked. He he doesn't run out of the room. Yes, Top Cop, I see you. It's not like he doesn't run out of the room. He just strolls out, just like, you know, it was almost like he was trying to be more incognito during the night than he was during the daylight. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to this story. And Trevor, come out wherever you are, dude. You know, okay, you got some warrants to face up to. Yeah, I feel like the dogs probably knew who was in that house. I agree. Hey, Carla. But Trevor, if you're following, and I know you're probably not following me, but I know that Molly's channel has been put into Facebook groups. Come out wherever you are. Okay, your child has been brutally murdered. I don't care what your warrants are. If there's anything that you can add to this story, if there's anything that you can do to help the police piece this together. Did you see he responded to the post of his ex? Captain Obvious, I did see that, but I don't even know if that's him because Monica has been known to break into her ex boyfriends, lovers, whatever, Facebooks and pretend to be them. Has anyone read Mandy Bell's community post? She said that there was someone recording Cash and that footage got handed in. Please see. Well, I'd like to know how she found that out. But he didn't look spooked to me. Everybody said, oh, he got spooked and he ran off. He didn't look spooked to me. Hey, Ageless Beauty. He just walked out like, it's almost like he changed his mind. Like, yeah, I'm kind of getting that feeling too, Lisa, but there's so much that you could speculate on here. And I'm sure the authorities are like, please quit putting out these stories, but they want to know the truth. They want to know why Darian wasn't institutionalized in some way or another, whether it be in a mental institution or jail. Um, because he had already done this. Hey, Kelly, the advocate. I hope you have a beautiful day too. And this Pinkerton, where is he getting his information? To the best of my knowledge, there's been nothing released uh, talking about sexual abuse. Nothing. And he's not even really related to Cash. Okay, I'll check it out, Lisa. But he's not even, physically, biologically related to Cash. And he just throws that out there as casually as, I personally think they all have a screw loose. I'm just to that point that this is just not a good group of people. Well, Puss in Boots, I understand it takes a lot to get someone institutionalized in the state of Texas. But even if it meant holding him in jail for the crimes he committed against that neighbor until they could get him into some sort, I believe Darian is probably singing like a canary right now, but is he so far gone that they don't know what to believe and what not to believe? Has he been told by an attorney just to shut the hell up because of his previous, you know, uh, behaviors? Who knows? Is he so easily? Is he in a mental faculty that he could be manipulated easily? I don't know. I there's so much, man. There's so much. But I don't believe Darian worked alone in this. My opinion was it was a get rich quick scheme. And Monica really thought she was going to get away with a fundraiser, a GoFundMe. Uh, I think it went terribly wrong. Uh, that baby was dropped in the streets and not hidden deep in the woods somewhere. That's something else. Why did that happen? You know, whoever it was, you know how they say when filicide, when usually when a woman murders somebody they care about, that they they have a tendency to like cover them up with a blanket or something like that because no matter what the evil act they just did, they want them undercover. They want them. You know what I'm saying. He knew better than to murder. Oh, I agree, Lisa 54. I'm Miss Captain Obvious. Is he capable of listening, though, to a lawyer's advice? I don't know, Captain Obvious. A lawyer, surely he's been appointed an attorney at this point. He still hasn't been charged with murder as of yesterday. Um, yes, an emotional attachment to the victim. Yes. So is that how Cash ended up in the middle of the street? Did Darian or whomever, did they want him to be found right away? Because it makes no sense to go into a wooded area and cause fatal harm, uh, and then display the body on a street that people are going to be waking up and jogging and going to Sunday church or Saturday, starting their days. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just so baffling. It's so baffling. I sit here every day. I read everything I can on it. I watch everything I can watch on it, and Every few minutes, my mind changes about something. They never said where he was killed because I don't think he was killed in the middle of the street. I know they were concentrating on the trails, little ray of sunshine. Yeah, the boys did live in squalor, and it's just so sad, and I look back on the previous girlfriend. She did a video, a lovely tribute video to Cash and Carter, and it's obvious how much she loved them. And that's where you see Trevor responding by saying, yes, they love their Hispanic family. Trevor, why? Why? Can you just come forward and say why? You could have run from the law, but make sure your boys are okay first. Take them back to your ex who obviously adored them. They were healthy, they were chunky, they were well dressed, they were clean. They went to amusement parks and oh God, Trevor. I'm sorry, but if I could get my hands around his neck right now, I would. But then again, there's a lot of people that justice should be maximum for any involved. Well, here's the thing. We all know that Texas has the death penalty. And if you kill a child under the age of 5 or 6, uh, you automatically qualify for the death penalty. What's going to make me think that they won't go for the death penalty is if, one, they found out that more than one person was involved, or two, that they find him mentally incapable, and you're not supposed to put the mentally incapable to death. I mean, that's like in your constitution. A person who's sentenced to death has to be able to understand the consequences of their actions. And I don't know, maybe he does, but you believe he was killed in the home. Yeah, Captain Obvious, because okay, so you had some warrants, so you ran from the law. Does that mean that you can, I mean, pick your children up, take them somewhere, drop them off, and then run? Scarlett, I would love to. I'm just in no position to do that, but I do not believe he was killed in the house. See, well, they found a weapon. They found a pocket knife, but without the autopsy report, we really have no no idea what kind of weapon was used on him. We know it was blunt force trauma. We know he was stabbed, but you'll also see a picture of Darian with a hammer in his hand. Could he use. But yes, they did find a napkin or paper towel with blood on it and a pocket knife. Now, in my opinion, this should be rushed through, and maybe it is. Maybe it's being rushed through. Hey, Sabrina, DNA testing. But let's say it comes back to be Cash's blood. Does that really prove anything? An edged weapon, which you would assume is a knife. Nobody knows, Violet. He's he's responding on Facebook, but is that really him responding? Because Monica's been crazy enough to go on to her ex's Facebooks um and pretend to be them. I've thought about that too, Kelly. Yeah, they seem to be keeping things close to the vest, and I get that when you're in a active investigation. I totally get that. When you're in the midst of an active investigation, I just really, really, really don't want them to drop. And I'm not saying they will, but I don't want them to drop the ball on this. I don't want them to just say, "Okay, Darian did it. It's over." I don't want that because there's way too much more involved in this. Drug addicts usually lack any kind of morality, so don't count on the scum of the earth father willingly contacting the police. I know, but this is your child. Did bio mom call the police? It's my understanding, according to the biogram of the maternal grandmother's post, that they were looking for them, but it also seems as if there was some kind of court decision where Trevor got the boys, maybe because bio mom is a trucker and the courts didn't feel like she could be home enough. Maybe she's an over the road trucker. I don't know what kind of trucker she is, but maybe the courts didn't feel like because he was seeking child support. Um, Brown's blood has to be on the weapon or any evidence they have in order for them to charge him with the murder. It reminds me of a case near me, Lyric and Elizabeth. I know the parents. I believe that drugs and a court case coming up were the reason for the girls' murders too. I hear you, Ganja Granny. But I mean, like, this is like, I've laid in bed and sat outside and, cooking dinner or doing dishes or whatever. And I'm just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, you know, that I just really don't want the police to say that stepmom's skin suit made the children live in squalor that lacks major care. Yeah, I personally would never have two babies in a back room with a sliding door or any kind of door that they could have gotten outside. And, maybe that's why she had the cameras on. But the cameras didn't alert them to someone coming in and stealing cash. There was no, hey, Merrick, there was no alarm system. I personally wouldn't put babies, especially 4-year olds, that have no problem getting up and no fear normally. And Cash is the one that they say, hey, Don Marie, Cash is the one that basically has been said he had no fear. He was the more outgoing of the two between him and Carter. Do you really stick them in the back of a bed, on the back of it? It looks to be like a built on room. People are calling it a sunroom. To me, it just looks like an add on. Like maybe it was used for a den at some point. But that's not where I would put two 4-year olds unless you have alarms on the doors and the windows. Yeah, who forgets they have a baby monitor? I don't think it was forgotten, Pepper. I think something deep inside of me tells me that Darian was manipulated into doing this, which does not relieve him of his previous behaviors and the fact that he did it. Yeah, to me, when my son was little, I know, Kelly. When my son was little, I knew approximately well, once he got over his colic and stayed up all night, but when he finally started sleeping through the night, I knew approximately what time in the morning he was going to get up. And it was almost like a built-in alarm clock. Like if I didn't hear from him by 7:30, 8 a.m., boom, I sat straight up and went to his room, where his crib was. But she's not the maternal mother of these two. So I don't believe she has a maternal instinct in her body. I don't think she has a maternal bone in her body. I really don't. Uh, I don't think she ever wanted these kids. Uh, I mean, they were probably okay to have around as long as she had Trucy. They were probably okay to have around as long as Trevor was there, but as soon as Trevor left, they became nothing more than a nuisance to her. Two more mouths to feed. I do that now, and I don't have little ones, Captain Obvious. I actually slept until 9:15 the other morning, and I mean, I sat straight up in bed. I didn't know what day it was, nothing. I was like, I never sleep that late. Right, Remy. They were there for a month or so, a little over a month, I think. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. All your fish drowned. That sucks, honey. I guess they weren't very smart fish, huh? I mean, I don't mean to crack on your fish, but I don't know. I just really, really, really want. Good morning, hybrid. I really, really, really want this to not fall through the cracks. Um, I hope it's taken so long to get information. Yeah, I know. Blaming Carter for not waking her up. And then my mind goes to little Carter. What was he thinking? Because you'll see he gets in bed what seems like, but there's no timestamps on the film. But it seems like he just gets in bed right as Darian comes in to take cash. Maybe so, Remy, maybe so. A lot of people are thinking along the same lines. Physical, financial, and mental burden on her. Exactly. They were no longer serving a purpose. She said the dad went to rehab. Well, that was probably just what he told her. But yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have been hard to look that up. Yeah, I mean, they served no purpose after Trevor left. They were her connection to Trevor. Oh, okay, Lisa. Do you think it's two different people in the video? Hybrid, in the very beginning, I did. I said that is not the same person. Um, I honestly did. But I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You know, I don't know. I mean, originally he comes in, why no dogs barking? A hybrid, unless they knew. Oh my God, a mouse is eating my cat. Honey, you are having a horrible day. Your fish drowned and a mouse is eating your cat. Go save your cat. But yeah, my mind goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You know that Cameron knew the cameras were there. But did Darian know the cameras were there? I mean, just because we all know he's been in the house before, that's no secret. They've done let that cat out of the bag, so to speak, because they've told so many different lies that I think it's going to become very clear. Even neighbors have said they've seen him coming and going from that home. So maybe that's why the dogs didn't bark. But here's my thing. When back to was it two different people? Cameron was fully aware those cameras were there, but was Darian. And on the second round, the daylight round, that person was not spooked. That person didn't run out of that room. That person is actually speaking. Now, whether he is speaking to Carter, who is still asleep, or he's speaking to someone else, he is talking. You can go back and listen to the video. He is talking. My dog would bark too, hybrid Pisces, and so would the Mastiff. But I don't know that they would bark if it was like my brother. I mean, Lolly would because she's back here in the bedroom with me. But it appears somebody might have been in the backyard at the time that this was going on. It only appears that way. I have no proof that anybody was in the backyard. Cameras could have been what spooked Darian. It could have been, but he didn't move like somebody that spooked. He just like strolled out, just like, he said a few words to Carter or to someone, and then he just like strolls out of the room. It didn't look like he was scared. Your dogs bark as soon as tires hit the gravel. Yeah, big dog here, the Mastiff, he does the same thing. I mean, he can like hear the mailman across the street. And well, you always know when the mail's here because big dog barks. Lolly, she's getting to the point, and she's getting older, so her hearing and her eyesight isn't as great as it used to be. Hey, WT ever, Eva, WTF ever, what the fuck ever? Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's baffling. I just feel like there's so much more. Yeah, somebody can time out Honey or get rid of them because obviously Honey doesn't want to participate in the they just want to talk about what a bad day they're having, and they are having a bad day. Hello, Republican Ash. So if somebody wants to time out Honey or get rid of them, I don't care. I mean, they're having a bad day. Their fish drowned and a mouse ate their cat. So they probably need to go reflect on what kind of day they're having. Multiple dogs, multiple people in the home, and nothing. I agree, Captain Obvious. And from another case, I do know that intruders can enter a home without dogs barking. Um, but I feel like there was someone in that backyard while this was going on, and those dogs didn't feel the need to bark because somebody was back there with them. I totally agree, Ganja Granny. I was just thinking of that the other day. I was just thinking about that the other day, how simple life used to be compared to today, where you can't take your eyes off your children because, our curfew was the street lights, and our parents didn't know where we were during the day, if we were playing at the creek or hey, just a sub. It's an ugly, ugly world, and I feel sorry for the littles that are growing up in it today because they'll never know the freedoms of what we had. You know, Monty could not have been as high as we witnessed via interview and also asleep. Yeah, the two don't mesh, you're right. And if you listen to Monica's interview, you'll catch her slip up. And she says, when she covers her face, she says, I can't do this. I need more. And she needs more what? But yes, it is, Ganja. Very sad that the littles of today will never know what a real childhood is like. I mean, I have a niece who's absolutely probably the best mother I've ever met in my life to her littles, and she does everything in her power. But to just let them get on their bikes and roam free and have a good time, no, my kid never let me sleep till 10:30 either. I don't know. Like I said, maybe this is part of my slump. I don't know. Or, my funk I've been in. I did find a groomer that's willing to groom Lolly, and I almost started crying when I found her because nobody wants to touch her funky ass right now. The shots aren't working, so I'm gonna have to talk to the vet because she's had two of the three and they're not working. If Monica was coming down, she could have been asleep. That's true. She could have been crashing. She could have been crashing. It's just a whole, it's just a sad, sad situation. And I'm sorry, but so much of me wants to blame Trevor. And unless he's dead, and even dead, I'm going to blame him because one look of that house would have told me, okay, this is nowhere my children can be. I might be able to stay here, but my children cannot. I know she sounds funny snoring. I know you're scared for your grandbaby's future, as you should be, Ganja. It's a whole different world out there. I mean, I remember my parents dropping us off at movie theaters and malls, and you know, I just find it hard to believe that Cameron, he knew the cameras were there, but did Darian? So that's what throws me off on the fact that it's two different people. Hey, Gingerlock's mom. Hey, Army Strong. I wouldn't let my cat stay in that room. I definitely wouldn't let Lolly. You hear her snoring? Everybody hears her snoring. So, Kelly, are you covering this too? You know what? We can find Osama bin Laden in the middle of a desert in another country. Surely we can find Trevor. And maybe that's what the police are focusing on. Maybe they're trying to find Trevor. For picking her in the first place, though, he may have been down on his luck and wanted a place to stay. Though he's still alive, he should be locked up. Oh, definitely. If they find him and he's still alive, then he should definitely be locked up with uh child abandonment, whatever they can throw at him. Because ultimately somebody had to be responsible for these kids. And this was their father. As bad as we dislike Monica, as it, eh, ultimately it wasn't her responsibility. It was her responsibility to pick up the phone when he didn't come home after a day or two and call Child Protective Services and say, look, I had a guy staying with me. He's left his two boys here. Hey, lady behaving. I think that would have been neglecting endangerment. Yes. I think that would have been, the appropriate. You too, Lisa 54. I'm going to get out in the sun, get some vitamin D, but it's going to be so hot. It was her responsibility to make sure they were protected. Yes. But because they're not her children, her responsibility would be to pick up the phone and say, look, I was dating this guy. He left 2 days ago. He's not been back. Um, I can't afford these children. Uh, You know, it, it just, it's hot here too, Ginger Lock's mom. But it's going to go back down into the 80s next week. So that'll be nice. 80s with the breeze. I'm okay with that. It just screams planned manipulation. I agree, Remy. I really do. I really, really, really do. I agree that it screams planned and manipulated. And there's so many things that I'm just sitting on the. He's probably. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't have the authority to make medical decisions for these children. Okay, is if that's what Monica says, but she does have the authority to pick up the phone and say these two children were abandoned at my home. They are not my children. She obviously financially was in no position to take care of them, just by the looks of her living situation. I mean, was it a get rich quick scheme that went wrong? I don't know. You know, was something going on with Cash, and Cash being the outspoken one? Um, would Cash was Cash talking? Was Cash speaking to somebody? Was Cash going to get them in trouble? You know, and then once Cash was gone, we can't just have one disappear. We need to have two disappear. You got to remember that Monica was fully aware of the fact that the bio mom and them didn't have any idea where the kids were. Thank you, Lady Behaven. Thank you. And like I said, I've been in a funk the last week or so, and I thought, you know what? I need to go live. I miss my people. When I say my people, I don't mean you're my people, but you know what I mean. That's true. That's true, hybrid. That's very true. But by the same token, could she not have had somebody drop them off at a firehouse? Or yes, she did, Mel. She said Cash was the more outspoken one. Um, so was he talking? Was she afraid he was going to talk? Was there something going on with Cash or in the house that she couldn't have? Oh, I know, Ganja. Carter's been on my mind for since this happened. Like I said, I'm a believer in God and heaven, and that's just I have to believe that. So I believe Cash is okay, but Carter, I don't believe is okay. I don't. And I believe this will probably affect him for the rest of his life. And hopefully not in a way that he can't get on with his life and function, but she could have taken him to, but if she had CPS involvement in her own life, which I don't know if she did, then she's not going to go nowhere near a CPS. Yes, he did focus on Cash specifically, almost checking to see if he had the right one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I think in the coming week, a lot of information is going to be brought forward from law. I hope you're right, Lady Behaven, because I'm just like, I want to know what happened. And we may never know exactly how things went down. I mean, you're dealing with drug addicts and people with extensive criminal records and mental issues. But I have a feeling that Darian is probably singing like a canary. But are the police taking him serious because of his mental illness? I don't know. Me too, Lucy's World. I mean, she made it clear that, oh, I do too, Kelly. I do too. But she made it clear that Cash was the most outgoing when he chased her with bugs. I hate bugs. You know, dysfunction junction. Yes. Yeah. So many should have, could have, would have scenarios. And to be honest with you, we can sit around and say shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it's not going to bring Cash back. But I do think that we need more focus on our mental health system. I'm sorry, it's the United States. If there was, and I don't know the statistics, but when it comes to mental health, we are truly lacking. And at the end of this pandemic, when it's just become part of our normal life, where you just get the shot every year like the flu shot, or you don't get it like the flu shot. Do you know how many frontline workers are going to have mental breakdowns for what they were put through in the midst at the highest peak of this pandemic? Um, our system is broken. We need to, we really, and I know you all might say this isn't a mental health issue, but it is a mental health issue because even drugs fall into a mental health situation. Hey, D Rod, even drugs fall into a mental health category. No, I'm not saying have pity for Darian at all. Yeah, there's so many in crisis right now. Yeah, and nowhere to go. Monica used the words they did it. That's not the first time I've heard that, Lucy's World. And I noticed in her interview that in the beginning she talks about him in present tense, like she's almost, like, okay, I got to talk about him like he's still here. But within a few seconds, she goes into past tense. There's not enough support. I do believe there is knowledge out there, Ganja, but yes, Quinny, I agree. There's many who want help, but they can't get it. Yes, she did use the word they many times. And like I said, in the beginning of her interview, she speaks as if Cash is still in present tense. But then within a few seconds, she goes into he was. At first, she was like, he loves to learn. He chases me with bugs as if, he's still there. Thank you, Remy, for dropping that. Monica's dad said kids, as in multiple perpetrators. Yes, he did. Yes, he did, Captain Obvious. There's a lot of slip ups. There's a lot of slip ups. And this is what I'm hoping and praying. And not that I'm smarter than the police or that anybody on YouTube is, some kind of investigator, but well, I mean, I'm sure there are people on YouTube that are law enforcement investigation, but I, I just don't want them to drop the ball on this. I want everyone responsible, not just some insane psycho 18-year-old to just be chalked up as, okay, he did it, it's over, let's move on. Because then there's other children in danger. What happens to the next man she meets and they have kids? I mean, justice for Cash and Carter, you got it. Thank you, Remy, for dropping that. And I don't want this to just fall to the wayside. I don't want this to just be, okay, we got him, we're done. I want it all. I mean, because if you allow Monica and them to continue to live the life they're living, thank you, Hybrid. Thank you so much. But if you allow them to just not be part of this, then other people are in danger. Because I got to be honest with you, I don't believe Cameron is all there either. Yeah, police do. I mean, imagine what the police are going through, Quinny. Look what we're going through. And they have a whole lot more information than we do. Yeah, don't call the police department. I mean, I don't suggest anybody picks up the phone and calls the police department. I know Marissa did, but that's just Marissa. She also called Vinnie Paladin, which she knows apparently, but no, let them do their jobs. I mean, unless you know something. If you know something, if you're from the area or you know something, then of course pick up the phone and call and let them know. But in other, don't be hounding them, because just think of the little bit of information that we have and what we're sifting through. We're looking at tennis shoes, we're looking at glasses, we're looking at headbands, we're looking at hairstyles, we're looking at body language, the who, what, when, where, and why. And they have more information. So, and personally, I'm going to take it as a good sign that they are digging into other scenarios. And that's why we haven't heard more. I mean, there hasn't even been a press conference, has there? If there has, please tell me where I can find it because I totally missed it. Monica and company are a symptom of the way society is set up. Until that is tackled, expect this to continue. I agree. I agree. As sad as that is, I totally agree. You know, not every drug addict has evil intentions. I know this. I'm the mother of an addict who wouldn't squish a bug, and he absolutely adores children, regardless of what condition he's been in the past. Law enforcement owes the public nothing yet except that they're going to get every single person involved. And Kelly, I kind of wish they would just come out and like say that. Just say, you know what, guys, this is an ongoing investigation. We know there's, a lot of outcry for justice. We're doing our best. Exactly, Remy. Yes. I mean, Carla M., that's what gets me, Violet. How the heck did these addicts end up with twins? They don't want them. Well, I don't know about the kid's mom. Is she an addict as well? I don't know. I haven't seen her police record. I've seen Trevor's and I've seen Monica's, but I haven't seen uh Mindy's. So I do too, Kelly. I want them, and they don't owe us anything. That what they owe is justice for cash. That's all that the Dallas Police Department or whoever, the FBI, whoever's involved in this, that's all they owe is justice for cash. But if there is anything that they could come forward and say during a press conference that would just let people know we're on this, you know, the bio mom does not have a record. Thank you, Samara. I do too, Quinny. I think there's going to be more arrests too. I don't know if it's going to be like in conspiracy charges. I don't know. You would think, Quinny, but is there any proof of neglect prior to cash coming up missing? See, I don't know. I mean, we have to remember is the way our system is set up is you are innocent until proven guilty. So just because we all have our feelings about these people, we have to allow the justice system to work. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it fails us. Um, but we have to give it time. The wheels of justice spin very slowly. And although I have my problems when it comes to our judicial system, I mean, it's the best there is. So anything being run by human beings is going to be susceptible to mistakes. Yeah, I'm not putting any blame on bio mom at this point. I don't know the custody situation. I don't know if they were taken from her because we all know that people lose their children every single day that shouldn't. CPS comes in and yeah, I agree, Quinny. They should be if they're not. But, sometimes CPS screws up. Our CPS workers in this country, we call it CPS here, Child Protective Services. Um, they're overwhelmed. For one CPS worker, they might have 40, 50 cases that they're supposed to look at on a daily basis. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it just, one minute I'm looking at it and I'm thinking one thing, and the next minute I'm looking at it and I'm thinking a whole different thing. And it's like, exactly. She was a truck driver. Maybe it was her job. Maybe it was her job that cost her kids. Maybe, she couldn't be home. It is very overwhelming. The bio mom was getting help to get her life back on track in order to get her children back. I can't imagine the guilt she is feeling. Hey, Nika. Right, Puss in Boots. I've carried almost 60 cases at once when I worked for the department. That's too much. That's too much for one person to ensure the safety of children. I think I heard that just a couple days ago that the bio mom is on the road. Yeah, and very well could have lost her children for no other reason than the fact that she's a truck driver and that she couldn't be home with them enough. Where Trevor might have worked construction, where he was, a 9 to 5 guy. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe her and Trevor had something worked out, but she never expected him to up and take the boys out of her touch, out of her visitation or whatever. That's what I said. Trevor, if you're out there, please, if you're out there, come forward. You could answer so many of these questions. I don't care what kind of warrant I have for my arrest. If my child has been brutally murdered, I'm going to come forward. And you don't know enough about this case. Well, D Rod, it's been all over. I mean, you got Tiffany Marie covering it, you got Molly Golightly covering it. Kelly's going to cover it. I think she's doing some digging. There's several people on YouTube that's covering it. Um, take responsibility of our children, our mistakes. Kelly, I couldn't agree with you more. I I get so aggravated when I hear CPS drop the ball. CPS dropped the ball. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times in which CPS does drop the ball. But what happened to our personal responsibility when it comes to our children? There are cases that CPS is involved in, and kids do slip through the cracks. It's sad, but it's true. But in every single case of abuse or anything else, all you hear is CPS dropped the ball. Well, no, when we were given our children as gifts from God, God never said, here's a baby, but if something goes wrong, we're going to blame a state agency. Hey, Dova. Yeah, my sister always said that to my niece, too. I'm not raising your kids. I would as a grandmother, but yes, the parents. At some point, we got to quit saying that a state agency of overworked, underpaid people held the responsibility to make sure that your children, my children, that they were taken care of. If you remember, I don't know, you're all not as old as me. I'm 56 years old. I was raising my child in the mid late 80s, okay? Early 90s, blah, blah, blah. You didn't hear about CP. I mean, yeah, you heard of them, you knew who they were, but they weren't involved in our everyday lives like right, Captain Obvious. I remember one time Chance had to take some yucky medicine. It was augmentin. And I had to hold him down and squirt it in his mouth with a syringe. And when he set up, he said, I'm calling CPS on you. And I said, that's okay, because they're going to come and take you away from my home. They're not going to take me anywhere. They're going to come and take you. He was just pissed off because I made him take his medicine. But yeah, look at the CPS calls done to creators here. Exactly. So wasted time on people and you know what? I said that what the fuck ever when CPS was called to Laura's. I said while they were at Laura's, a child was being abused somewhere. A child was being abused. So for the time that it took to respond to Laura and look into Laura, have Laura come in, do a drug test, whatever else they did, a child was really in need. Yeah, using CPS for revenge is the worst. I think it should be. Uh, I, I think it should be a crime. But how do you make it a crime? Because you don't want to scare people from calling when it really is necessary. People don't have enough money to live. That's true, Captain Obvious. They have been used as weapons. I don't know. Like I said, I want justice for Cash and Carter. Anybody else in this situation? Anybody else? You're on your own. I don't know enough about Bio Mom to know her situation. I'm not going to speak on her. I don't know enough about the maternal grandmother to speak on the situation. I can't sit here and say she was a bad mom. She was a bad grandma. That's why they don't have the kids. Not in all circumstances does somebody lose their children because they're bad parents. Mistakes are made. Some parents make the decision that one parent would be better. We don't even know if Trevor has always been an addict. At one time, he might have been a really clean cut, decent dude. But we all know Monica has a real problem with lying. She lied about her first husband, Matt, saying that he committed suicide in front of her. That is not what the death certificate reads. Uh, So Monica has a real problem with telling stories. She also strikes me as she was going to sue the county because she lost an infant to SIDS. And to me, that's a little sketchy too. Not that children don't die of SIDS, but it's really uncommon nowadays compared to what it used to be. Taylor, that's true, but it wouldn't keep me in hiding. I'm sorry. I face the music. That's just me. I agree, though, but I feel like the kid is probably singing like a canary and scared as hell. And I just don't know if he will be taken seriously because of his previous behaviors. They probably have psychiatrists in there giving him all kinds of evaluations. Can he be believed? Is he so out of touch with reality that I don't know? It should be illegal for somebody to take children and hide them from their parents. I totally agree. That should be no different than kidnapping. If both parents have visitation, regardless of who is the custodial parent, if both parents are allowed to see the children and one parent decides to run with them, it should be kidnapping. And maybe Trevor is alive and knows this and he's not going to come out because he feels like those charges are going to go against him too. I don't know. I just know that I'm looking so forward to hearing some sort of press conference, something, and they don't owe us anything while they're investigating this. But the time that it's taking to press actual murder charges against uh, Darian is telling me something. Because as of yesterday, he was under kidnap and burglary or breaking and entering or something like that. They have not brought murder charges against him as of yesterday. So that tells me that they're digging, and I hope they keep digging and they keep digging and they keep digging until they have everybody involved in this case rounded up and put behind bars. Because that little boy lost his life and it should not be lost in vain. But let me ask you this. Do you think, because of the reports that the neighbors made about not Cameron, Darian, that the neighbors made about Darian, do you think that the police are going to want to brush those under the rug? Because he literally broke into someone's home and attempted to kidnap this man's granddaughter. And he wasn't behind bars for that. Waiting for forensics to come back. That could be it, Samara. I agree, Kelly. Me too. It is insanity, Remy. But are the police going to What are they gonna, I mean, what's gonna be their explanation when they come forward and they get questioned about Darian's previous conduct? And how are the police gonna answer that? I'm angry that the mainstream media isn't running the story. You know what? I'm kind of a little ticked about that too, Samara, because remember back during the Watts case, every single night of the week, HLN was watch, 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 watch to the point that I got sick of hearing it. And that's no disrespect to Shanann, the girls, or Nico. But while the Watts case was being blasted all over every screen, everywhere, there were still children missing. There were still crimes being committed. So there are other victims out there. So I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even come on to really talk about this case. It's just, I've been in a funk. I can't explain the funk. I don't know why I've been in the funk. I've just been in a funk. I'm sure I'll come out of the funk. As far as my nephew goes, I don't even know what to say to my brother. I text him occasionally and tell him that I love him if there's anything I can do. Um, Thank you, Kelly. Uh, I also wanted to let my Patreons know that I've let them down lately. I've not been a very good Patreon person. So tomorrow we are going to get together and we're going to do a giveaway, and we're going to play a little truth or dare to see if they trust me, if they want the prize, or if they want the gift card. I'm going to find out if they're gamblers. Thank you, D-Rod. Or if they're sure betters. Because a gift card or money in their PayPal is a sure bet. Or if they're going to pick door number 2 and take the prize. The prize could be a gag gift. It could be something you really want. You could open it up and be like, what the F is this? But I'm going to see how much they trust me, you know, and if they're gamblers or not. That's right, Case Moss. We're going to play a little truth or dare in Patreon tomorrow. So be there, all my Patreons, at about 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to see if you all are betting folks, or if you go for the sure thing, or if you go for the mystery gift. I think it'll be fun. I know Kiki wanted to go live later about this case, and I know she feels like, I hope she doesn't get mad at me for saying this. I know she feels like there's a lot of people covering it. But Kiki, if you're listening, sweetie, I say do it, because you never know that one thing that you might say or that you might see that could be different from everybody else's, or that somebody in your chat might say or they might see that could be different. I say go for it, Kiki. I'll be there. I might be sitting in the sun, but I'll be there. So, Kiki, if you're listening to me, I really wish not enough covering it. See, Kelly says there's not enough people covering it. I don't think there can be too many covering it. I really don't. I would love to hear Kiki's take on it. Um, when Kiki does true crime. She's very good at it. Like I said, in case you haven't noticed, there's so many of us that's been avoiding the drama that I don't even know who hates who this week, who's ugly, who's fat, who's stupid. I have no idea who these people are anymore. And it's been a relief. It really has. You know, it's been nice not being in the midst of, the panels full of hate and anger and yes, do it, Kiki, Samara says. Samara, okay, I'll call you in a little while, Mama. Says Dova. You're one of those people, D-Rod. I think Kiki would give a great perspective on it too. And the more people covering it, the more that you're going to hear and see other people's perspective. Not everybody that's in my chat goes to Kiki's, and not everybody in Kiki's comes to mine, and not everybody that goes to K Smalls comes to mine, and not everybody that comes to mine goes to K Smalls. You all get the picture here. I don't have to go further. So, no drama, just crime. That's right, Samara. I'm not saying there'll never be drama again, but I am asking Kiki to go live about it. And I'd love to hear her perspective on it. I think everybody would. I think the more that's covered on this case, every little thing, something maybe I'm missing. I know there's been things that Tiffany has said or Molly has said, and I'm missing it. I'm like, I just don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just means Dova says, I'd love to Kiki it up for Kiki. So there you go, Kiki. If you're listening to me, people are asking you to do it. So if you would go ahead and schedule it, I'm sure folks would show up because there's so much the little things that some people see it, some people don't see it. I think it would be great. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to get off of here. Kiki, if you go live, I'll be there. You all sub up to Kiki if you're not already. Everybody have a great Sunday. Try to get you some vitamin D in. We're all lacking due to the virus. What WTF Eva says, I will definitely be there if she goes. Yeah, me too. D-Rod said she'll be there, but it's been great. Thanks, Kelly, for coming in. Much respect to you. Keep an eye on Kelly's channel. She's going to cover it also. I don't think there's such a thing as too much when there's so much to it. Yeah, I did think there was a little too much when it come to the Watts case. Okay, he did it. He admitted that he's in prison. We're done. Leave the families alone and move on. That's how I feel about the Watts case. That's how I've always felt about the Watts case. He did it. He admitted it. He's in prison for the rest of his life. Now it's time to move on. Leave both the families alone. Let them get on with what's left of their lives. That's how I feel about the Watts case. I always have from day one. From the day he said he foregoes a trial and admitted it, I was like, okay, it's over. Miss New Booty has a question. Okay. I'm waiting on Miss New Booty's question. If you want to sub up to Kiki, it's Kiki Ramblings, by the way. Yes, rest in peace, Cash, and justice for Cash and Carter. Everybody involved in these children's lives needs to be held responsible for whatever role they did or did not play. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel. Do you agree with those people dragging random people into the Diane thing when they aren't sure? Do I agree with these people dragging random people into the Diane thing when they aren't sure. Miss New Booty. No, I don't agree with it. I think you have to be pretty sure. If you want to talk behind the scenes about it, that's probably one thing, but um I know I wouldn't want to be drug into, I wouldn't want to be drug into the dying thing if I wasn't a part of it, but I also believe that every creator has to answer for their own behaviors. And there's Kiki's link, sub up. Kisses to Lolly. Well, I'll kiss her from afar because she's pretty stinky, but she does have a grooming appointment Thursday. Thank you. I'm getting the whole kit and caboodle. She's getting a blueberry facial, everything. I mean, this dog is going out spa style Thursday because she deserves it, and the groomer is actually willing to groom her even with her skin condition because the doctor has said that it's not contagious. So I'm just, she's getting everything. She's getting the blueberry facial, everything. She might not love me for it, but she will when she's done. No, Miss New Video, there's several brains on here. Some people don't use them. But with that, Patreons, don't forget, we're going to play a little game tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to see if you're a gambler or if you're a sure better. If you take the prize or the money or the gift card. So we will see. Guys, I appreciate you coming in here. Have a fantastic Sunday. Please keep your prayers going up for Carter. The little dude must feel so lost. Neem oil for Lolly. Neem oil. I'll take a screenshot of that. And look forward to Kiki and Kelly the Advocate, and let's just keep it rolling. We don't want this case to fall, to fall short of who should be held responsible. Patrons, I'll talk to you all later. Definitely tomorrow by 7. Thank you all for coming in, supporting my stream. I feel a little better. My funk is lifted a little bit just talking to you guys. I didn't mean for it to be totally about the case, but that seems to be where it went, and I'm okay with that. So, prayers up for little Carter, and I'll see you guys around the tubes.